Alrighty, guys, I am not a big fan of horror. So let's talk about the new trailer, the first trailer for the HBO Max show, It, Welcome to Derry. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of horror. I really don't like going to the theater, not even horror, just scary things in general. Not a huge fan of that and medical anything, like medical cuts and those scenes. And I was just watching Jessica Jones. And there are scenes where what's her name? Claire Temple is doing, poking needles, and it's bad. That stuff's bad. Anyways, that's an entire other tangent. I don't like horror. I don't go to the theater to watch horror. That being said, there are almost always exceptions to rules in life. And for whatever reason, when it was, I think it was 2017, I decided, you know what? People have been saying good things about this It movie. I'm going to check it out. Also, the clown is scary, but he looks kind of interesting. I'm going to check this movie out. I watched the movie, not in theaters. I have yet to see a true horror movie in theaters, and I don't know if I ever will. There is a reason. I know that Sinners is not a true horror movie, but it doesn't seem like the kind of movie I'd want to watch in theaters. I will watch it eventually. I will. But it's just not the kind of movie I'd watch in theaters. I watched it at home, and I liked it. I liked it a lot, and again, granted, being able to watch it at home, being able to not, lower the volume a little bit when you know scary things are happening, and being able to not watch things, I liked it. I thought the story was really solid. I thought the chemistry between the kids was really good, and it was an enjoyable movie. It was a scary movie, obviously, but it was a movie that had, it was just the right balance of scary and intriguing for me to really enjoy the movie, and I liked it. I thought Bill Skarsgård was transformative, literally, in that role. I thought he was great. I also then watched It Chapter 2 when that came out. For viewing at home, and I liked that one a little less. I think most people consider that one to be much weaker than the first one, and I would agree with that. I think that it just didn't have that same kind of appeal what the first one did. I think the story was just a little weirder, and the flashbacks were good and they were interesting, and having the adult actors and the kid actors there, but I just thought it was strange, and also the ending was a little weird when they were trying to poke him with a stick. It's been a while since I've seen it. That's what I remember from it. Anyways. So all that being said, when they announced they were making this It Welcome to Derry show, I actually got very excited for it because I thought if you're going to make a prequel show to any franchise, this is a fascinating one to do. Because obviously there's this thing about Derry. I forget how many years in between, but there are things that happen every, is it 17 or 23 years? I don't remember. In Derry, where Pennywise shows up again. And it's a really interesting concept to be able to, you did it with It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2, where you went between those two generations, right, when the kids grew up. But to go even a generation back and to see where it all began, as the tagline says in the trailer, I thought was super interesting. So I was really interested to see what the show had to bring. The trailer looks like everything you could want. It's creepy, but I think for me personally, it's not, to the point where I just feel like I can't watch it, right? It was scary, and you see a little bit of Pennywise at the very end. And I think that while it looks kind of like, because it's the same concept, right? It's a cyclical, the same thing happens. People kind of get scared every so often, every generation, and then people forget about Pennywise. It looks like it's the same thing, right? But still, I think that concept is interesting and rich enough with a different cast of characters that I believe that this show has a lot of potential to be, to endear us to new child actors and to endear us to new characters, teenagers or kids or whatever age they are. And then, watch them as they are terrified, because we're also terrified by what's going on with them. I think that it makes perfect sense to do. So the trailer, it shows little glimpses here and there. It shows us that, yes, there is still something wrong with Derry. There is always something wrong with Derry. And I think the visuals look good. I wish we got a little more of a glimpse of Pennywise. Also, there's some conflicting things that I'm hearing where I think somewhere it said that this show was coming out in the fall, and somewhere else it said it was coming out in the summer. I have no idea when the show is coming out, but we're wrapping up The Last of Us soon, so I'm assuming that it was Penguin, and it was Dune Prophecy, and then now it's the Last of Us, and it's going to be It Welcome to Derry after that. So I'm excited about this. I think it's going to be really quite interesting to see how the show ties in, if it does tie in at all. Obviously it's much earlier in time than the two movies and the books, but still I'd be very interested to see if it does, and if it continues to, because it's Andy Muschietti, who directed the first two It films, is I think directing and executive producing this show. So I think it'll still have a lot of the characteristics of the movies, and I can't wait to see it. So guys, what did you think of the first little teaser? It was barely anything, and that's why we're not talking about a whole lot of the shots and whatnot, but it was still really cool to see. What did you think of the trailer? Let me know in the comments down below.